key takeaways are that the naming of bidders whenever there is a leak has been seen by market participants as a real concern, and in some instances may be leading to bidders to decide to put their pens down rather than continue forward with a bid at an early stage when they're not sure if they want to move to completion. I think we talked about the implementation of the automatic 4-week put-up or shut-up period, but we also talked about the fact that there have been in every transaction when requested extensions to that period, so that new rule hasn't bitten very hard. We talked about the fact that implementation agreements and break fees have been barred. I think we generally concluded on the panel that we thought that was one of the more positive changes and that it was not necessary to have those protections in place, and that's helped target companies. And we talked about the need for disclosure of financing arrangements, for instance flex terms, and we said that the disclosure of that information is of little obvious use to audiences that aren't necessarily finance experts, so questionable benefit, but on the downside for the banks and therefore for ultimately the issuers of debt, it makes it more difficult to issue debt into the market on the best achievable terms if the market can see that in fact in the end you're prepared to pay a higher coupon if necessary. So I think we all thought that that change was a particularly unhelpful one.
Exactly. I mean, it was extremely unpopular from where I was sitting.
Yes.
One of the things that I thought was surprising, though, is you seemed to say that you didn't think there'd be many changes when the takeover panel comes to review.
But my sense is that the panel feels that the rules have had the intended effect, and that by and large they're working out in an acceptable manner. I think, for instance, this point about financing flex fees that I was talking about, while we as practitioners may think it's a bad thing, I think that the panel and maybe the government as well feel that it's a positive thing. And while we talked about some of the issues around the rule changes, there's no doubt that the market by and large has coped with the changes, and that the UK remains an open market in corporate control, which is a good thing. So I think we will see only modest changes when the panel reviews.
Interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it all turns out.
Yes.